Hey you. Yeah, you there. No, you're not lost, and yes, managing risks is 100% something your team should do as well. So don't drop off this session, because the reality is many small to medium projects fail because of a lack of readiness to handle unexpected hurdles. Hey everyone, thanks for joining me for this talk. I'm Biro, and at Jexo we're on a mission to help you and your team improve how you deliver work with our project management apps. Today I want to talk to you about risk management, what it is, who is it for, and how to manage project risks using the tool of your choice, Jira. If at any point along the way you have questions, put them in the chat or comment box, and I'll make sure to help demystify everything. Also, we have a booth here at JiraCon, so do find the Jexo booth and come talk to our team. Would be happy to expand on this topic and give you some free licenses and discounts for our products. First, let's look at what this term means. Risk management in projects is the identification, analysis, and treatment of potential impacts to the project based on an assessment of likelihood and consequences. Every organization will face unexpected risks, but rather than reacting to issues as they happen along the way, risk management helps you stay on track, as it is a proactive planning process that identifies risks and how to handle them. So the purpose of risk management is to identify possible risks, reduce them, better plan your actions and handle risks, and plan better in a more grounded way. And this is important because, well, one primary reason, to put it in plain terms, hurdles, blockers, and unexpected issues cost money. You want to make sure your projects stay on budget by avoiding unplanned financial burdens. At first, one would think that managing risks and having contingency plans only applies to big companies with large projects and programs, which is far from true. While it is true that large complex programs get hit harder when unexpected issues occur because they have intricate dependencies that can cause a domino effect and the financial risks are beyond significant. But that doesn't mean smaller teams are not affected by unexpected execution hurdles. In reality, such challenges can be a lot more impactful for small to medium-sized companies with fewer resources. Say, for example, you're launching your first application and have the budget to pay a small team for 6 months of development, and the project is estimated for 4 months. If you are proactive, you will put in place a contingency plan to account for changes in deadlines. What if we're not ready in 4 months? What if we pass beyond 6 months? How can we make sure we limit that risk and have backup solutions just in case it still happens? If you wouldn't think of the risks, there's a chance you'd run out of budget before the project is ready and have no clue how to get back on track. The other aspect of not being prepared, and one that my team and I care a lot about, is well-being at work. If the word risk is not part of your vocabulary, you're likely working in a volatile and unpredictable environment that generates a lot of stress. I want my team to be happy at work, and being prepared for challenges helps keep a positive and constructive vibe. Now, the big topic that puts smaller teams off from practicing risk management is the complex standards and processes, but it doesn't necessarily need to be complex, and in reality, managing risks is a natural behavior that we do all the time in our daily lives. You can really break it down into 6 simple questions you and your team should ask yourself with each work deliverable. What could happen? What is the probability of this happening? Which of the things that might affect are important? What should we do about it? Who will own the risk? And did it work? If you're already asking yourself these questions and answering with your team, then congrats, you're practicing risk management. So now if we translate these simple questions in step-by-step process, we would be looking at something that reads as follows. Identify the project risks, analyze the risk, prioritize the risks, respond to the risk, assign the risk owner, and monitor the risk. The first step is to list all your potential project risks and what their characteristics would be. You collect all of these findings into a bucket called risk register. This step is iterative and collaborative, as it should take place throughout the project lifecycle, not just at the beginning, and the entire team should contribute, because often there are times when your team will see possibilities that you don't. Analyzing the risk. This is where you analyze and determine the probability of each risk happening. You will rate each risk probability as high, medium, or low. Early on, this is going to be hard because rarely do you have enough information to be able to assess properly. But as the project progresses and details unfold, as well as with experience you accumulate, it becomes easier. Prioritizing the risks. You'll need to know which risk will have a higher impact on your project's outcomes, and also what resources you'll need to resolve it when it happens. These factors should help you rate your risk from high to low impact. The way you respond to risk depends on the previous steps. The analysis and prioritization have a big say. But also, you need to determine whether it is a positive or negative risk, because projects risks can include threats and opportunities. Is it a risk you can make use of to make your project better? This is called opportunity. And if, on the other hand, the risk would hinder your progress, then you classify it as a threat. Once you establish this, you really have three main ways to respond. Avoid the risk altogether by eliminating the cause in the first place. Mitigate by reducing the probability of your risk happening, which usually helps cut monetary loss. Or accept the consequences by developing a contingency plan should the risk occur. Again, how you decide to handle a risk depends on all of the factors gathered so far and how you and your team think would be the most effective path. A quick mention, I use certain terms that are beyond the scope of this session, for example, contingency plan. On our website, we have a glossary or dictionary, however you might want to define it, with over 40 project management terms. Search for Jigsaw Glossary on Google and you should see a link giving you all of the definition you'll ever need. Now, assigning the risk owner. Sure, you can have one person by default owning everything, but to me that creates a culture of less responsible as well as less responsive and detached individuals. But also there might be too many risks for one individual to handle, so try and distribute ownership so you have your team oversee these risks. And finally, monitoring. The assigned owners will need to monitor the evolution and areas of risk occurrence in the project. They'll need to stay updated at all times to have a good idea of progress and monitor the new risks. In order to constantly identify new risks that can occur along the way, the question that needs to be asked at all times is, what changed? Change and new risks will surface from project decisions, inflection points, but most importantly, they can also occur from responding to existing risks. So, how do you manage your project risks in your project in Jira? Well, today there's no clear-cut way to do so. You can structure some Confluence page to represent your risk register and risks, but you lack a way to classify risks with probability, importance, and so on. You could use a spreadsheet or standalone tool, but these are usually overly simplistic or clunky, part of a bigger governance tooling solution. So we decided to create a proper risk management solution that works with the tool you love the most, Jira. Hedge is currently in development, and it is a Jira Cloud app built with Forge and designed to help any type of team manage risks. Hedge integrates with your existing project data and enables you and anyone in your team to create risk registers, conduct risk assessment, prioritization, and reporting through a clean, intuitive, and super easy to use interface. As mentioned earlier, the first step you take when starting your project and continue to do along the way is to identify the project risks. Using the Hedge app, you will be able to generate risk registers that can be associated with one or more projects, as you might want to share risks across multiple teams. You can also assign the risk register owner, the person who is responsible for administering the risk register. And there's also a status where you can specify if the register is still active or being archived. The list of registers can be filtered and you can create as many as you need. While creating the register, you can also set a template for it. This allows you to choose from a list of predefined templates with a risk matrix and factors that fit your need. And you'll be able to customize it along the way. Once you're all set up with your register, you'll be able to easily create all of the potential risks using the very familiar issue creation view. Hedge makes use of custom issue type, so once you generate a project risk register, the issue type risk will be created in that specific project, which means you'll be able to create a risk the same way as a regular issue and access risks from any place in your project screens, including Swanly Roadmap or Foxley Planning Poker if you use our other apps. As per our process, once identified, each risk needs to be assessed to establish the likelihood of happening, the impact it may have, and what the response should be. You can handle all of this using Hedge Risk View. Here, you can choose from a drop-down the probability of the risk happening and the impact. Both of these contribute to an overall score, which helps you prioritize your risks. One thing to mention, how you lay down your metrics and the formula calculating these metrics is customizable. For example, both the probability and impact metrics can be simple drop-down options, or they can be calculated based on additional factors. Let's take impact metric. You might want to break this down into financial impact, customer impact, and so on. This helps you be as specific as you want with how you determine what risks are important for your team. The other bit is the fact that the formula to establish the risk score is customizable as well. You can use the standard probability multiplied by impact or alter it to include the usage of the metric factors or even issue fields as variables. Once you assess the risks, the next step is to figure out the actions that need to be taken to either avoid or reduce the probability, or as a contingency plan for if it happens. For any of the scenarios, you'll be able to link Jira issues to the risks and track progress. You can also assign a Jira user as a owner of the risk. With each risk register, you'll have a reporting section with key reports like risk matrix and trends, mitigation plan tracking, burn down chart, and key risk indicators. We are on a journey to help promote teams to become contextually aware, make better decisions, and be a bit more risk conscious. And I know that we're on the right path to achieving that with the Hedge app alongside our other solutions and all of the knowledge sharing we constantly do. If you're new to risk management, I hope this session helps you understand that it is necessary and not as complex of a practice. If you're interested in chatting to me and my team about risk management and any other PM and work management related topics, I encourage you to drop by our booth and schedule a call. If you do that, I'll give you all of our apps for free for 3 months and other additional discounts. Make sure you don't miss out the upcoming Jira sessions. Enjoy, and I hope we chat soon.